Every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues.
Always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
It's good to have you join me back on this particular segment. Amazing discussion here so far on Global Morning, and we have more coming to you. And of course, on this particular segment, fixing or changing our focus and looking at other issues. We just had area cancellations that happened in the FCC. A lot of concerns were raised, a lot of contributions. Nigerians spoke to what happened and the build up to 2027, what's going to happen next. Well, following the recent elections in the Federal Capital Territory, attention is gradually shifting from campaign promises to governance and service delivery. The Minister Area Council, popularly known as Amac, residents are keenly watching how the council leadership will translate political mandates into development that directly impacts communities. And from infrastructure to local economic development, healthcare, education, and youth empowerment, expectations are high that the council will deliver on its grassroots development blueprints. Well, today on the program, this particular segment will take a critical look at the post-election political landscape in Amac, the governance priorities ahead, and how the council intends to deepen grassroots development. Joining me to discuss this issue is one person who understands what happens basically in the area council, that's Amac, in person of Dr. Deji Adebayo. He's the Director of Business Development at the Amac Investments and Property Development Company, IPDC. Dr. Deji, it's good to have you join me.
Thank you for having me. All
right, so there's a whole lot happening, and I just want to understand, basically, after the election, what next? What's the way forward? The area council election have come and gone. Yeah. From your perspective, what does or what outcome mean for governance, or what should we be looking at in terms of political stability in Amac here in the FCT?
Well, talking of political stability, I think the results speak for itself. You know, because if you're talking about political stability, you're talking about the party that's going to dominate. That's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. With this election, with this area council election, which was supposed to be like a litmus test for what is coming, it was resounding. A lot of players, a lot of key political giants came out for this area council election, and at the end of the day, the result was what it was. So, talking about that, I don't want to start talking about my party. My party has been the first time, because we're following the trend of area council. Amac election, let me focus on Amac.
Yes.
The result has never been this resounding.
Okay.
And what facilitated this was the fact that the candidate, which is Chris Mikalango, who is the incumbent, did a lot of things that other area council chairmen have not done before. He made promises, fulfilled the promises, and from the grassroots to every area of
governance,
mm-hmm. felt his impact. Both the indigenous, as in residents and non-resident,
non-indigenous,
and non-indigenous, you know, because the chairman we have now, by the grace of God, is not a biased person, he's not a tribalistic person. He understands the dynamics of how Amac works. Amac is the place that's supposed to be like center of unity, and we have diverse people from different backgrounds and understanding religion, and so he has played his cards well, and that's why we got the result we got.
So Nigerians were asking a lot of questions from moving around the election, that the concerns were raised. Is it about the individual, or is it about his delivery? Because we looked at the FCT, it's also a place of unity. It's no longer just for the indigenes themselves. Yeah. Would you say that was what spoke for him? Because he just said he's someone who says things and it brings.
And it
Was it his promises delivery that brought him back? How that plays out, because I'm looking at grassroots politics. Grassroots politics in Nigeria often comes with high expectations from residents, So what are the immediate governance priorities that the council leadership must focus on after the election that just happened on the 21st of February 2026?
Okay, well, if truth must be told, the primary healthcare facilities in Amac, I was opportune to go around all of the facilities before this election for visitation and follow-up. By directive of this same chairman, Mikelango, he wanted to get first-hand information of what was happening there. We went there, they were doing fine, but we realized the basic issue was electricity.
Okay.
And we're coming out with a blueprint on how to provide solar renewable energy for these facilities, so that they can have 24 hours lights. That's one. Then we're looking at providing in-house doctors that will have residents within the facility, so they can be for issues of emergency and all of that. So the chairman is really doing a lot. This is just for the health. There's start of education, and we have commissioners that handles these various departments. He has empowered a lot of youths, because if you look at some areas in Amac, they don't really need infrastructural development like city center, like we say, the federal government, through FCDA, Federal Capital Territory,
putting all those things.
They're handling all of that. So basically what we needed were empowerment. But believe me, if you go to a lot of other places like Orozu, Guiward, they need roads, they need light, they need water. And he has done a lot as regards to that. But unfortunately, when it comes to infrastructure development, we have the residual list, concurrent list, and whatever.
Of course.
So the area council is limited to do something. There's some things you do that you are stepping your boundary. So he is working with that, and he has good blueprints.
Okay.
To make sure he does whatever he has to do. Okay,
so I like the fact that he's working on improving the people's welfare, because that's what governance is basically, and he has to work within his. There's a limit to how you can stretch when it comes to all of these developmental plans. But the concern is, how important is the political inclusion and collaboration among the councillors, stakeholders, and community leaders in driving the effective governance system in Amac? Because this is a collective thing at this point.
Okay, first of all, I would like to, because there can be no one, there's no way the whole of Amac or the council can all be working in one party system. What I'm trying to say is this: there has to be synergy for us to get results. Of
course, right? That's why I asked.
But this is what I know about what's happening. After election, we all come together, regardless of party divides. For people like me that have been here, for example, for the record since '88, and I've watched how this Amac grew, and eventually I got involved in politics, and I understood how the political cycle has been working. But for the first time, we're having a chairman that is bringing everybody together.
Okay.
Regardless of party divide, he has tried to unite people. In short, I'm not a spokesperson, I'm not trying to blow a trumpet, but when we were in PDP, in short, when we moved to the APC people were telling us that, do we know what this man did for them while we were in PDP? So that's what they were giving him, that was sounding welcome, and they're ready to work with him all through. So now he wasn't doing it for them because they were from another party, he was doing it for them because they were residents of Amac. So now what happens now is, from what I know, he works with all the chiefs. If you notice recently, the chiefs were upgraded by a higher rank, by FCDA.
Yes.
These are things he and the mandate secretary, because thanks to Mr. President, for the first time, they have a mandate secretary for area council from FCT that's now working hand in hand with the chairmen and the councillor. But talking of Amac, the chairman works in tandem with his councillors and the chiefs within Amac, and the youths. He respects the youth so much that he gives them revenues. Unlike before, you just give to your own cohort, your brothers, your sister. But now he looks at the youth as a whole. They need something. If you guys can come out with a blueprint and you think you can deliver this, let's put it to a test for 1 year. And if you're able to handle it properly, he renews it for you.
Okay.
That is how it has been.
Okay, I like the fact, because the truth, I always thought, I speak to some people who are friends, and I say election should not be cause a divide. Election should be a process where you're looking at governance and what it brings back in terms of betterment or improved life for the people you're calling for. So basically, I'm looking at right now the developments at the grassroots, which you've mentioned. The Amac Administration has talked about grassroots development blueprints and how you've talked about from the health sector to the road infrastructure to key major areas this lays out, education and all that.
Yeah.
Can you explain what this blueprint entails and the key pillars it is driving aside the road infrastructure? Because we're not looking at just Amac, yes, essential. It has the backing from the FCTA, which does most of its own build up.
Yeah.
But like I said, the election has come and gone. It is the people, basically. You mentioned Orozo; those are places taped down. So how is it reaching out?
Okay, now let me talk about let me comment through from the IPDC which you represent.
Yeah.
IPD is called Investment and Property Development Company of Amac.
Yeah.
It's the investment and property development arm of Amac. Now we have been working on, for example, building low-cost housing for residents of Amac and staffs of Amac, where you can now come pay instrumentally. It's like rent to own property. We're also doing PPP with some other companies for plazas, for markets, and what have you. Now, these are gateways to which we're trying to empower and provide facilities for individuals. For example, right now we're also working on the renewable energy, where we encourage people to go into the solar power, and you don't just come pay and we install. It's also the instrument that will do part payment.
Where you can work
partnering with bank of infrastructure and what have you to make sure that we get these things to the grassroots. Yeah, so these are just some of the few I can mention right now.
Okay, so I was hoping you talk more on that because basically infrastructure remains one of the biggest demands.
Yeah, if I want to talk about infrastructure, there's a lot.
There's a lot because that's about road, drainage system.
Definitely.
You mentioned the market, which is one thing. So specific projects are prioritized basically, which you've talked about: healthcare, education, and critical services delivered at the government level. Amac is also strengthening the sectors to improve the welfare of the residents. So let's look at the residents in Amac and how you get these healthcare services to get to them. Power crisis or power outage is one concern that's happened, and you've mentioned the solar system, which is one of the major. But for those who cannot afford the installmental payment plan, so how do you assist them? Because of course they need it for their businesses. What's the plan you put in place?
Business, is it informal or formal? Because if you're talking about business, the informal business doesn't need light.
Most of them that depend on the power generators. The cost of fuel is on the rise as well.
That is what we're saying now. There's no way a whole, let me put it that way, let me say like a plaza or a complex. Like we have a shopping center in area 1, area 2, we have a Totako and all of that. You can't say they can't come together to agree on something. No matter what it is, they should be able to afford a certain percentage.
That's on a collective or community base.
Yes. We're not looking at, when we come to the market, we're not looking at individual level. We're talking about the whole market structure. Where it is going to be central.
Like an association.
Yeah, they have association. This market, funny enough, they have association. We have reached out to some of them, and we've seen and spoken to some with them, and most of them are good to go. All they're waiting for us is to perfect our documents, begin to supply these things, and it helps. It's going to help. We know it's going to help.
So let's talk about revenue generation and all that, basically, in terms of economic development. What role does the Amac Investment and Property Development Company play in generating investments into the council? Because, of course, you also have to find a way of also boosting the economic state.
Of course, like bringing up ideas. Like for me, I'm the director of business development. So what I do personally is develop ideas that can help these things. I help the Amac generate funds. Like I said, for example, just this solar, again, we're partnering with banks. Of course, for every business you're doing, there should be profits. We are looking at, we're going to make sales, we're going to have to do maintenance for them eventually. This maintenance, it is not Amac staff, so it is not going to be residents. This is another form of creating employment for people. So they can now have something doing. In the long run, the solar panel itself, the inverter itself, the battery, these are things that you have professionals that handle. This is just a side of it. We're also looking at, for me as a business developer, I'm looking for how to protect business owners by not imposing too much taxes on them. And we're in talks with the council, the chairman, so we'll look at how to cut down these taxes because we have issues of one business having more than multiple taxation. So what the chairman has done, he has come up with a new system where every tax are streamlined. It's called I've forgotten but it has to be one person comes and collect the whole tax, so that not one person come and say I'm collecting for work permit, another person say liquor license, another person say fumigation. Want it to be accumulated.
Okay, so it's like it's a stream payments where it goes to one particular account.
Yes, this helps the council get proper accountability, the necessary revenue. Because what we've noticed over the years from our research is some people collect this money and they don't remit it.
Of course they should. When there's no proper monitoring.
Cool. So now we're having task force from the council. Unlike before, the task force is based on different technical partners. Now, the task force will be coming from its council itself. So if we go to you and you say you've paid, you show proof. If that proof is not real, then we'll have to fight back. But if it's for real, we'll let you be or move on. Unlike before, since the council is not the one sending task force, they don't have records. Now we're also doing data collection, so we know what is sustainable here. Like for tenement rates, we know how many buildings we have, and we compare what we have before, so we can now kind of postulate what is expected to have in another 2-3 years from now. This helps to, so even after our set is gone, over company can have that.
You can transfer easily.
Yes.
And then you know the state of
work.
We
are getting digitized. A lot is happening for the betterment of both the area council and the residents of Amac.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you've enlightened us basically, because we need to understand what this process is and how it's given back to the people in the FCT. Yeah. But youth unemployment remains a major challenge across Nigeria, and even Amac is no exception to this particular challenge. So the question is, what programs are being developed to empower the youth and also the small businesses? Because you've talked about you being a business development person who wants to look at this initiative and how that can add to the people. So what's your plan for the young people, aside businesses? Because, of course, it's business plan. Young people are also interested in business.
Yes. Yeah, well, you're right. But like I said before, when we begin to open, it's not our duty to open districts in FCT. But within our capacity, like I said, we're building plazas, malls.
Can they afford? Can the youths afford the plazas? It's quite pricey.
Well, it comes at the price, definitely. But you see, what we know is we have the Bank of Agri, Bank of Industry. We're also partnering with these people.
Okay, let me allow you land. So I'll take on this because I know you.
Well, now with these people, because see, what I eventually discovered over the years is there are a lot of opportunities in this, even SMED and SMD, they support small, medium, SMEs, and a lot of youths are really not aware. So part of what I'm doing, or we are doing, is enlightening people, letting them understand these opportunities are out there. Go for it. You can't. The truth is, at the end of the day, you can't really provide for all, but those we can provide for, we do. There's also the council does empowerment once in a while to the councillors. Okay,
so these empowerment schemes that you do, is it like entrepreneurship kind of trainings to give them, and then when you finish the training, do you give them the tools, or do you give them to help them with this? Because I know there are sometimes bottlenecks where they are not aware, and I like the fact that you said there's advocacy, there's training to walk them through the path, but are there measures? I like where one is trained and one is given tools to run, because if you train someone and you don't guide him through with tools, it's as good as nothing.
We have done that in time past. For like an example, we taught people on shoemaking, we taught people on fashion designing, makeup, and what have you, and they were given kits. But apart from giving them kits, they were also trained on financial management. Because we have come to understand that some people, after you empower them, after a year, they are back to where they are.
Well, exactly. So
the root cause of this is the fact that they don't know how to manage it. Some people begin to spend more than they earn, as an example. So we get financial experts to train them, also have people to follow up why they are already working. Okay, what's your challenge? What can we do? Because most of the time, it's not about giving them money out. It's about helping them
understand the business strategy.
Exactly. So a lot has been done around that angle, and we're still doing. But for example, recently the chairman mandated that we should give, we're partnering one of these financial institutions, I don't want to mention names, banks, banks, so that we can empower, even with just POS, to give people POS, to give them a POS stand, and give them a financial startup capital of about 100 or 200,000 naira. But that is not enough. We'll still follow up to say, okay, what are your challenges? We understand that there's some people that if you don't have a good location, environmental will come and say, why are you here and what have you, you know.
Okay.
So we try to partner with the Abuja Environmental Agency Protection Board so that they understand that these are Amac empowerment
programs are done for people.
For the people. Don't distract as long as they're not constituting nuisance or staying where they. Let us know the criteria of where they can be and you know those things.
Strategic
so every area, every ward, we're expected to empower like 20 persons.
Okay.
That's like about 120 people from 12 wards. That's fair. That's part of it.
Okay. I don't want to talk about the fairness, but okay.
no. It's part of it. For that, there are other things too now.
Okay.
This is just POS. We still have shoemaking.
Mm-hmm.
We still have makeup kits. We still have fashion.
Yes.
There are a lot of things.
All of those things because I mentioned entrepreneurs and traders.
There's the IT. There's a lot.
I'm looking at traders because we have women who they survive on their daily sales.
Okay.
Daily sales is a major thing. They don't have access to formal jobs like people like me do the corporate jobs and all that.
Yeah.
So for people who are traders who need, for instance, 5,000 naira. Let me use the farmer or the vegetable sales for instance. Mm-hmm. So when you train people like that, what are kick-off funds you provide for them to, and also what are they committees set to monitor and help them see that this money gets back a return for them? Because I want to see them build up artisans who you just mentioned, the shoemakers who have been trained in shoemaking. I've seen people who do this on a small scale but build it up to have factories and all that. So are there monitoring or an evaluation committees that you put out to ensure that they get the end results, basically?
Well, that's what I've been saying because through the matter, like when you spoke about agriculture, we have a commissioner for agriculture too in Amac, and he has been. The last time I checked, they were able to provide seedlings, fertilizers, and trainings. Okay. In short, they even provide them working tools. Okay. Yeah, for their farm. But now we need to. I don't want to talk too much about because it's not my department.
Yeah, I know.
But what I know is they try to understand. Okay, one, you're a farmer. Where's your farm? What have you done in time past? You know why? Because you don't just because you want to bring up farmers, you force people to start farming.
No, you don't.
They won't have that drive. We're looking at people that already have the zeal and love the job. Okay. You understand? Then another thing we realized in the long run was the issue of security. Okay. A lot of them were having security issues. So we're working on. Well, it's beyond Amac to provide security.
It's not limited to Amac.
Yes, it's a general thing. So we are limited by that. But notwithstanding, those that have farmlands and they're already doing fine, or they will need support. And we know that when we support people, they'll yield result. Like even what we also do is after the farm, we patronize them. Okay. Yeah, the area council is also working on creating still on agriculture, on abattoir, where people can come market their meat, their ram, their goats, and whatever, and still get patronage. You know. A lot. I don't want to. Okay, agriculture is not really mine. So
I want to stick with you with the business development plan. That's basically why I was stretching you to all of that. Okay. But so let's turn to the focus of accountability and also service delivery, which you've mentioned. The area council is set on delivering on service delivery to ensure people get the best of themselves. But citizens often demand transparency, accountability from local governments because. Right now, even from the federal governments, the local governments is one area where they feel the people should be reached out to and enough should be given to them. What mechanisms are in place to ensure the resources are properly utilized when you generate these funds? Like you mentioned, what are the measures put in to see that it's properly utilized, that people feel the impact?
I'm not the head of accounts.
I'm not asking to give you accounts.
But I want to just say, I'm not the head of accounts, but you know, I think if someone is working, it shows. I'm going to say, for example, like our leader, Ogawike, the minister, you see he's working. Same way with my chairman. Road infrastructure, health, agriculture, education is covering everywhere, I can assure you. Okay. Do you understand? But for accountability, well, I don't.
That's why I said the people they always demand, and there's people. That's like the media is a watchdog of the society. The people are also joining hands with all the media, because the media is not surrendered from being the people.
Yeah.
We're looking out for accountability to checkmate what is said.
Well, I think the records are there for them. Anybody that wants to check, come to the council. They'll provide that for you.
Okay, well, community participation is key to local governance. How can residents of Amac largely or actively engage with the council to ensure development project meets their needs? What do you think they can do to do that? What
the residents can do?
Yes, in terms of active engagements. Is there this, what's the word now, where there's a reach? Relationship balance.
Well, that is where the councillors come in, because to the best of my understanding, councillors are the grassroots. They're the ones that are directly representing the people, the residents. Right? Amac is divided to 12 wards.
Sure.
Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So what part of the campaign promise for City Centre, I'm talking about this, I was a DG for City Centre, was we are available to you. If you have questions, you have projects. Like now, what we discovered for City Centre, for example, is most of the residents in City Centre, Amac, are now retirees.
Okay.
So virtually everywhere we went to, they were like talking about tenement, because tenement is consistently there. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a retiree or not earning, you still have to pay this. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what can you guys do? So what we ask them to do, per area, write a proposal.
Okay.
What do you want us to do? Mm-hmm. By law, we cannot exterminate it. It's constitutional. We can't remove it completely. But I think the chairman can, working with the councillors, they can come to an agreement, make it as lenient as possible, cut it down. That's part of, as far as I'm concerned, it's a project. Then for areas that have water challenges, you have your area leaders, I mean their chiefs, write to the council.
Or have the chiefs in the different communities.
Exactly. Write to the council, to your councillor, or the chiefs can write directly to the council, or the councillor can bring it forth. And the chairman, funny enough, is someone that has listening ears. He always make sure, okay, this is the issue. Like, okay, I was given a job one time to go and do electrification exercise for Idu.
Okay.
So we have to call the councillor, take us to your area. Let's see what are your challenges and how can we solve it. We realized they no had lights for whenever.
Okay.
All they had were poles. That's temper poles. That's AEDC. They have mounted their poles, but there was no transformer, no cables. The chairman said we must make this thing happen within 2 months.
Wow.
Yes. And he gave us necessary resources. And believe me, today they have lights.
Okay.
That is how
that thumbs up to the power outage, which is a challenge basically across most of these things. And I see that you understand developmental plan in terms of business ideas, and you're trying to push all of this. Even though I was trying to drag you to talk about
don't drag me too much.
Talk about some of these policies, because why I want to speak to these policies, because I know you work hand in hand, and I like to see where policies translate into implementation, and then the people get the benefits of who they voted for. But let's talk a bit about the election before I reach out. On the day of the election, we still had the issue of voter apathy. Cut across. What was the reason in your own point of view? Because of course you did a campaign and all of these things.
Yeah, I did.
You saw this, you spoke to the people in the city centre. That's what I'm referring to. City centre, which is Amac himself. Yeah. I know deep down to the deep sides, we still had people turn up, but why is it always that challenge?
Of people not turning up for it?
Yes, basically.
You see,
some people said they don't believe in area council, but
exactly,
I want to hear it from you, basically.
You see, truly, you're very correct. It's an issue because we realize when it's time for campaigning, we go down deep and we speak to people. But on election day, you not see them, and it's beats my imagination. Why? Because most of them forget the fact that the closest form of governance to anybody or any community is the area council first. The presidency can come up with policies that affect the nation, but directly, because there are peculiar issues. The way it's functioning, things happen in Amac different from the way it happens in Kwali, Gwagwalada, and your villages and whatever. So if you are living within this area council, in short, nationwide, I want to use your point to encourage you, come out for your area council elections. Because these are the people that are directly representing you. For example, the Senate now and the House of Rep, they are a bigger cadre there because they are not working directly with you. They are going to work through the area councils. Even the presidency works through the area council. But if you don't have the right persons representing you, but back to the question, why don't they come out? It's ignorance. That's all I can say. People don't have the facts. Yes, they don't have the. They just feel they don't. The area council, they don't have any business with the area council.
But area council or whatever also talks about the local government's governance and all that system. So if you don't trust the locality which you stay, which is supposed to provide the basic things from the grassroots, what happens in the long run? You come out talking to issues where you didn't even do the first step of coming out. Because I went around election day.
Okay, you did, okay.
I went around and I saw the turnout was really not encouraging. In some polling units where you see ad hoc staff just sitting down.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing. And at the end of the day, INEC has done their part where they've done the provision of the materials, election materials. True. They've done the schedule and everything, and also spoken with politicians and who are participating in the election to come out. But yet we still have that as a major concern. So I'm looking, going forward, what do you think from your end?
From my end, like I said, if it's ignorant, we have to enlighten them.
But we keep doing this enlightenment. We still have where people still talk about voter education, citizen engagement, that, but it's still a problem because aside the Amac elections, cuts across several elections, is it that there's no longer trust in the system?
This is a big challenge for both the residents and the politicians. Okay. Because what eventually happens is, I think elections after elections are over, is over bloated with irregularities from people. At the end of the day, 5 people contest, 1 person win. The remaining 4 begin to shout, cheating, which is more than that 1 person that have won. So eventually it filters in. Some people want to go to court, even when it is obvious you didn't win. Some people want to go to court when it's time to do the proper campaigning and electioneering, you didn't do what you had to do. Now you have lost, you begin to fight. And that's, in the long run, affects the rest of the, it affects everybody. They begin to say, because my candidate didn't win, or this is not the person I supported, and all of that, that means my vote didn't count. But in the real sense of it, it counted. See, people have been saying votes don't count, votes don't count. Allow me to make an example here. Okay, let's go. When we were in PDP, people said, there's no way you guys can win. The president is APC, the minister, everybody are APC. How will PDP win? And even the incumbent is APC. Then I said, okay, no, what we'll do? We'll do the necessary campaigning and follow our result to the end. Okay. Which we did. We followed to the end. We had calculated our results. So you had your own... of course, we have situation room. We calculated our results. And whether I like it or not, for every party that's calculating their results, they also calculate alongside the other parties. Of course. Because the results comes all together. At the same time. We followed. At the end of the day, we were the coalition center. Those that were supposed to be. And we followed. At the end of the day, we won. And here we are today. So, and by the end of... what's in city center, that's the ward. Yes. We won by just about 6 votes. Okay. And people will say votes don't count. Those 6 votes were what made us to win. So imagine if we didn't follow, or let me say, out of those, you still had the nonchalant mindset that it doesn't count. 10 people don't come, we will lose. Okay. So I'm putting it as a challenge out there. Let people understand that votes count. It's just the people standing in for you, the people representing you, or your party, or your. You should encourage them and also always keep your mind or focus to whatever you're giving out to people. Because I always tell people on election day, why won't you come out to vote? There's a lot of awareness creation. There's a lot of talks to the issue around coming out, voting the person who you feel is the right person. Leadership is the major thing. Leadership is the focus, or leadership is one who drives you into the good governance system you're looking for, the economic stability you're looking for, the security measures looking for. If you don't have people at their affairs, or at their aims of affairs, how do you get to find results in the long run? So those are questions I always help to please trust the system and always try your best. Well, even as well as you trust the system, be a part of it. I want to put the challenge out there to the youths. Okay. A lot of us youths, I count myself a youth, all we do is go online rounds and just stay in our comfort zone and just talk. And I don't think that is going to yield any results in the next 100 of years. Do you understand? You have to be physically involved or practically involved, not just usually, practically involved in something for something to happen. Okay. Do you understand? There's some people who have said government is wasting money, they're not doing... Using one of the rules that was constructed, they say it was over bloated. And all Nigerian youths were doing was shouts and rants online. I kept challenging them. If truly you feel this is an issue, and we won't go to be challenging the media, why not investigate and probably write a petition and copy every party involved? Like now, if it has to do with road construction, there's a national road management, whatever. There's a Ministry of Works. If it's FCD that did it, challenge them.
And find out what the challenge is.
Find out what's going on. They didn't give you
But the truth is,
we don't do it.
We still do that.
How many people do it?
We still ask questions like, you're here to speak on this issue because I want to get accountability.
Okay, yes.
That's what I'm talking to you. So the platforms where we provide is where we speak on issues like this. We bring up issues.
You're talking about media.
No, media. I'm referring to media now because media, when you're saying media should do that, we do these things by calling when we see issues that needs to be spoken about. We get you, the experts, or you, the people who are in the system, to come talk to this. That's how we get our accountability done.
Well, that's fine, but let's also enlighten people on how to
we enlighten, we talk, and why I'm asking, because I like the fact that you're able to spell it out. INEC did its own part through the results which you saw. You monitor, and if, of course, it gave you what you're looking for, and fine. Today we're where we are, and that gives credibility to the process that they did their part. So it's good to hear that coming for it. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji, for being a part of the programs. He's the Director of Business Development at the Amac Investments and Property Development Company, for sharing your thoughts. And we look forward to seeing more amazing things come out from Amac.
Yeah, we promise you
in
that.
terms of business development and seeing the young people being carried along. Well, amazing discussion here we've had with him, speaking to this issue and talking about the post-area council elections and how we're assessing Amac's grassroots development to see where the blueprints leads the people and what the people should be expecting going forward. Well, as governance at the grassroots continues to shape everyday life of millions of Nigerians, the expectations on local council remain high, from infrastructure development to economic empowerment and improved public service. Well, that's what the focus is looking at. We'll continue to monitor and see how accountability speaks for itself. It's still Global Morning. Please stay with us. More to come your way.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
good to have you back. It's still Global Morning, and of course, I told you have loads lined up for you, loads of things. And Mukhtar is still here with me. Mukhtar, it's time to shake our body a bit.
It is honestly one of the most exciting time of the period of the program for me is when we have to do exercise. But before then, of course, those conversations you had were really on point from the food security drive that the federal government is aiming to make Nigeria food sufficient, and the guest you brought raised very valiant point as to the challenges that farmers are facing, and there's no how we can have a sustainable agricultural sector if our farmers are not well taken care of, if they're not given the right output and the right environment to thrive, basically.
Enabling
environments, that's the word. If you don't have that, there's no how we can achieve food security. So as the government is trying to find a balance with that, they also have to find a balance with appeasing the farmers who are directly affected. And of course, FCT is one, Amac especially is one that affects all of us, because that's where we work.
As a unity,
that's where we do our business and all of that. Exactly. So whatever it is that affects Amac affects basically the entire federal capital and the nation at large. And I like the fact that the guest was also able to highlight the
service delivery plans, the blueprints
exactly
put out for them
for the development of the FCT in general.
Okay, well, a whole lot to talk about. Like I said, it was a whole lot lined up for the day. I really want to miss out of it. But let's quickly turn our focus and give part of our program schedule for today, which is aerobics. We want to bring you a few minutes and make sure that your Saturday is in line with healthy living. Stay with us as we bring you a few highlights on the aerobics.